if you'd said, look, your wife, partner for 10 years, married for 5, has an affair and is pregnant with another man's child, how will you react? I would have said anger. I'd be furious. But it wasn't there, at least not initially. It was this overwhelming sense of sadness. It was just that sense of loss, of knowing that, again, that she's potentially done something that she might regret for a long time. And I don't want anyone to go through that experience where they feel like they've fucked up hugely. Even if the future is positive in that moment, my sense is there will be regret or at least shame. And so it was a sadness because that was connected to the loss, the sense of loss, of losing things that I held dear.
Feels like you're living outside your body a little bit. I guess that's what self-awareness is, or at least emotional awareness is, because you're being able to see that situation, which is utterly horrific for anyone.
Yeah.
From, as you say, from like a bird's eye view, as if you've you're looking down on it. And that's allowing you not to just feel your own emotions, but to feel empathy towards theirs.
Yeah. And I think that's the path, in my eyes, that's the path to enlightenment. And I'm not saying that I am enlightened, but I think we're all on that path and we're all progressing through it. And for me, that's what awareness is. It's being able to experience internally your thoughts and your emotions, and externally what's happened as if it's happening to someone else.
You're like holding them out in front of you and analysing them, right? So but if you're not holding them out in front of you and it's happening within you, then you are just almost like a passenger on a roller coaster.
Totally.
Whereas holding them out in front of you kind of makes you the conductor or the roller coaster, or at least able to, understand. And if you can understand, then you can address and then you can overcome.
Totally. I love it. Whenever you're holding it really close to you, you're fused with it. Anything that happens instantly will provoke a reaction, whether or not it's emotional or behavioral. But when you hold it in front of you, there's a bit more space. Now, you still experience it. I'm not going to lie to you. It was a brutal couple of months. I cried every day for maybe 3 months, for hours. I would walk and I'd process what happened. And if you want, we can talk about that at some point, about my process of moving through it. But yes, it was, I'm not going to say it wasn't emotionally painful, but I wasn't defined by that pain. That was just a part that I was experiencing.
Let's talk about that. So a lot of people experience grief in many forms, and this somewhat feels like the central emotion, you described it as a loss. It feels like a form of grief. Yeah. What was your process for moving from, finding out that it had happened to where you are today, where you've quote unquote processed it, I imagine, as much as you might have been able to at this stage? What was your process?
So where I think people often catch themselves in a counterproductive cycle is whenever they try and avoid experiencing what they're experiencing. They try and shun it, lock it away, put it in a box, disconnect from it, deny it, and they just focus on the future and where I'm going, and they might try and rationalize it. This happened because of X or because of Y, and then they try and forge ahead. And I think it comes back to bite them at some point. The simplest truth is that we can only ever experience one moment at a time. And I remind myself of that. I don't need to think about right now the financial separation, the divorce, what it means about friends or family, or will I meet someone again, or how long will it be, or what will my life look like, or where am I going to live? So many different factors that could be overwhelming. I just decided to deal with one moment at a time. All I need to do is deal with this one moment. And what is this one moment bringing me? And accepting and welcoming, it sounds strange, but welcoming whatever comes up. And so whatever emotion came up, I didn't try and push it away or shunt it or deny it or negate it. I let it sit. And that's why I cried so much, because there was so much sadness.